March Madness is nearly here with Selection Sunday right around the corner. Some teams are on the brink of elimination and others are looking to make their last push in hopes of punching their ticket to this year's tournament. I'm here with David Flynt to discuss this year's March Madness bubble teams. So David, what is your team that can sneak its way in and make a push?
Alabama, I think of the most notable teams that can make a deep run, has a bit of a battle on their hands in the SEC tourney, but I think they can go deep. They really don't have a single player that carries them. They all kind of share the load, which is good. They only have one ranked win in about the past month, which was over South Carolina, but obviously Avery Johnson, a veteran head coach at the helm, knows what to do in these pressure-packed situations. They may get lucky with a couple wins over some top SEC teams. They certainly have that talent, too.
They have only 3 scores in double digits. So does that scare you for their tournament hopes, even just in the SEC tournament?
Actually, I think their defense is a little more of a question mark. In watching the Alabama versus Auburn game that happened last week, they jumped out to a lead of, I want to say, over 20 points, and Auburn just stormed back in the second half like Alabama forgot how to play defense.
So for Alabama, who do you think that team's going to be led by, Hall or Lewis Jr. come tournament time?
It's going to be Dante Hall, I think, just because his skill set is a little wider than Lewis Jr.'s is. But I wouldn't be surprised if both of them have a very big chunk of the payload.
Okay, so going from who's going to make the surprising run of the bubble teams, who's going to be left at home watching on TV instead, or going to the NIT at least?
Staying in the SEC? Sorry, Gator fans. You're going home. Florida has never made the SEC tournament in the season where they have more than 14 losses. Unless they win the SEC tournament, which I consider highly, highly unlikely.
Most likely.
They've got to get through Tennessee, Kentucky, LSU, Auburn, whoever knows who else. They're going to have at least 50 losses.
But they have the same record as Alabama. Do you think that Alabama has more notable wins, or do you think that Florida just is going to collapse in the SEC tournament?
I don't see the leadership with Florida that they're going to need to move on in the SEC tournament. If Billy Donovan was still at the helm at Florida, maybe I'd say otherwise. But I don't think the coaching staff or the current crop of players that Florida has is up to the caliber to make a big enough impression in the conference tourney to move on to the big dance.
So going from these bubble teams, a team that's already punched their ticket in Murray State, led by John Morant, who scored 36 points in their championship win over Belmont. How far do you think that the Racers can go, and can Morant carry them through the tournament?
Don't get me wrong, John Morant is an unbelievable player, and he's going to get a chance to share that in the NBA come a couple months from now. That being said, he cannot carry Murray State the entire way. The Racers will stall out in the round of 32. Yes, that was an intentional pun.
I figured.
But looking at the BPI, they don't even have the top BPI in the Ohio Valley. Belmont does by 1 spot.
Yeah.
49 versus 50.
That's why that's a toss-up, I believe. If this Ohio Valley is going to be a 2-team conference, before this, Belmont was the 12th seed expected to get through, and so you do have the Racers winning in their first matchup. They're a 12.
Yeah, and I think in that situation, as a 12s versus 5 tend to be a lot of toss-ups sometimes. I don't know why that is.
That's the hardest bracket. More 12s beat 5s in the NCAA. So John Morant, definitely a name to look out for come March Madness, especially since his ticket's already punched. And I think I hear the final buzzer. When we come back, Ennis will sit down with Will to discuss this year's NBA awards candidates.